Sports lovers, welcome to Met Sports TV. Today's episode is about Mr. Matchroom himself and Anthony AJ Joshua. And Mr. Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, has stated that he is looking forward in bringing Anthony Joshua into the ring 3 times this year, and that is a very fantastic news. He says the first option is for Anthony Joshua to face a top 15 ranked opponent. That means he is looking at a fighter who is ranked between 15 and 10. Now, the second option is to face Dillian the Body Snatcher White in the summer. Then, later in December, Anthony Joshua goes ahead and face Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder or Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. The latter, which I think won't happen, and wait for my explanation at the end of this video, because Frank Warren wouldn't allow it, and this is my reason. Wait for it at the latter stages of this video. Now, before I get into the details, let's have a listen to what Eddie Hearn said in the interview.
Into the heavyweight world champion, to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion. And the trainer will want to take the appropriate steps to do that. It's all very well being brave and listening to Twitter, you know, and going out there and fighting Deontay Wilder and doing this and doing that. But there has to be a plan, you know, there has to be a smart plan. And the smart plan is he wants to return against a top 15 guy, a credible fight, then move forward in the summer with probably Dillian White, and then move forward against, I guess, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury.
For second glued to Africa's first choice online sports portal. Before we continue, please do me a favor by subscribing to the channel. Press the bell icon beside the subscribe button so that any video we upload, you would be the first to get. Then like this video because it helps YouTube recommend the video to others, and express your views in the comment section. Let's make this an interesting conversation. Now, let's go to what Anthony Joshua must do before he gets into the ring. Anthony Joshua must get a trainer before he gets into the ring. As at now, there is no official confirmation that Anthony Joshua has gotten a new trainer or has affirmed his training team, though Eddie Hearn has stated that Anthony Joshua would be going to come soon. He has not officially declared his training team. That may have been arranged for behind the scenes, but let me give you my take on the options that are available. That is Angel Fernandez. I think he is not a top trainer, and Anthony Joshua must get rid of him. If Anthony Joshua wants to become a 3-time heavyweight champion, Angel Fernandez must be eliminated, out, cast. Now, Robert Garcia seems to be like a tough guy. He can speak through to power, and he has stated that, I think he should have stated that to Anthony Joshua personally or to the management team personally, but other than granting interviews to say that. And he reiterated in one of the interviews that he has told the team that Anthony Joshua, for him to work with Anthony Joshua again, Anthony Joshua must leave the UK and come to the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, which is located in California. There he would have a lot of people pushing him, because he said Robert Garcia once said that Lomachenko may come down because he may be doing everything right, but he is not competing at the level, or he is not even competing at the gym, because anything he is asked to do, he does it. But if he is in a gym with a lot of people, he would see people going the extra mile and it will urge him on. Bringing that logic from the Lomachenko explanation, that would apply to Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua often trains alone. He has once a while, then he goes outside his gym, but Anthony Joshua always trains in an enclosed, or his training team is restricted. Now, Anthony Joshua must open up and start training with other people. When you are asked to run 5 miles and you see the young guy who is looking up to you to be a future world champion going 6 rounds, I think that would motivate Anthony Joshua to also go the extra mile. Sometimes you ask, like Robert said, you ask your fighter to do a lot of things, but and he does it, but does the fighter go extra mile? For Anthony Joshua to become a world champion again in this dispensation, he needs to go the extra mile. And now the third option is Derrick James, who is looking like the likely candidate to secure the job against Anthony AJ Joshua. And Anthony AJ Joshua has been in the gym. He has seen how Derrick James works. He has an undisputed champion. He has a unified champion, and he has a prospect who is looking so fantastic. So these are the options available. I think the latter is what Anthony Joshua is going for, but Robert Garcia is also a very good option because Robert Garcia has proven that he can add a lot to Anthony Joshua's game. And since they've been working since December 2001, it would be easier for Anthony Joshua to progress from what he has learned from Robert Garcia than start afresh. Maybe that is why he is starting with a top 15 opponent. Now, let's go to the top 15 fights that Anthony Joshua is looking at. I don't think that since they are going for a top 15 fight, I personally don't think Matchroom would be looking beyond their circle. And Alan Babbage, who also doubles as a bridgerweight according to the WBC, Philip Hergovich, a Johnny Fisher, Anthony Joshua himself, Dempsey McCain, Dillian White, Fabio Wardley, Solomon Dacres, Jean Gillet. So these are the 9 fights or fighters Matchroom have in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua can't face himself, so he's automatically ruled out, making him being left with 8 opponents. Alan Babbage is too small. He has the character, but Alan Babbage is too small. And looking at the future plans for Anthony Joshua, facing Alan Babbage wouldn't do him any good. So I eliminate Alan Babbage. Johnny Fisher is a prospect, so I eliminate Johnny Fisher too. Solomon Dacres is also a prospect, just has about 5 fights, so I eliminate Solomon. Now, these are some of the ranked fighters on Anthony Joshua's team. Philip Hergovich, he is the IBF mandatory. Dillian White, he is ranked by the WBC. Jean Gillet, he is also ranked by one of the governing bodies. Then Fabio Wardley, who recently jumped into the WBA ranking this month. So this is all after eliminating those that are prospects. So I don't think Philip Hergovich will step in with Anthony Joshua now, because Philip Hergovich holds all the cards to a potential world championship fight that can even propel him to the top, though he would make more money off Anthony Joshua in terms of legacy, waiting and marking time to fight for a world champion, or fighting 2.5 fights for a world champion, will do Philip Hergovich a lot of good. He can make more money in the future than going for the Anthony Joshua fight and bringing Anthony Joshua back to the top. That option is available, but Philip Hergovich is not managed only by Matchroom or promoted by Matchroom. Kauli Sanlan, it's a partnership. So Kauli Sanlan is also a promoter of Philip Hergovich. So I eliminate Philip Hergovich to leaving the likely opponents to Dempsey McCain, Jean Gillet, and Fabio Wardley. Now, Dempsey McCain is an Australian fighter, 32 years, undefeated. Matchroom recently went to the Australian market. So Anthony Joshua versus Dempsey McCain in Australia would boost the market of Matchroom and would help or would promote the boxing, or would take the boxing to the next level. It would be a filled stadium and everybody would be happy with the money that would be made. Now, Matchroom is also looking at entering the Chinese market. And who other than any other person than a 39-year-old Chinese who looks to be fading out, whom you have a contract with, Zhang Zhilei, who gasses out after 5 rounds, being a tune-up fight for Anthony Joshua. That is a good candidate to also propel or announce Anthony Joshua's brand to the Chinese market. Anthony Joshua versus Zhang Zhilei. Either in China or in Britain, the Chinese would purchase the fight. Now, The problem with these two fighters is they are both southpaws. Will Anthony Joshua want to face a southpaw since Eddie Hearn has stated that his next opponent is Dillian White, who is an orthodox fighter? So will Anthony Joshua want to face a southpaw? That is Dempsey McCain and Zhang Zhilei, both are southpaws. So will Anthony Joshua want to face a southpaw because before he gets into the ring with Dillian the Body Snatcher White? I don't think so. Having faced a southpaw in his last two fights, he would want to face an orthodox fighter, and that brings me to Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley has recently been ranked by the WBA either number 14 or number 15. So that makes him a credible, that ranking makes him a credible fighter or a credible opponent. He is a ranked opponent, and he is also a Brit. And all British affairs, they would fill the O2 Arena, and it would be a good sale. Wardley has a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua, and I think Wardley would take this opportunity, especially if he's able to put in a very good performance or give a good account of himself, even though I think Anthony Joshua beats him easily. So I'm thinking Fabio Wardley being the first person Anthony Joshua would pick out of the matchroom stable. Then the second is Zhang Zhilei. Zhang Zhilei, who is 39 years old and gasses out after 4 rounds, as we saw in the Filip Hegovic fight. Then the third option would be Dempsey McCain, who is undefeated, proven to be, and it's very difficult to beat an undefeated fighter. So first option, Fabio Wardley. Zhang Zhilei has lost 1, draw 1. Dempsey McCain is undefeated, so that would be quite difficult to defeat. Now, let's go to why I said the fight wouldn't happen with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is looking forward and fighting Alexander Usyk match this year. Now, if they fight match this year, the rematch may happen August or September. If the rematch happens August and September, I don't think Tyson Fury can be in for a very competitive fight by December. If Tyson wins the both fights with Alexander Usyk, I don't see him being in a very massive competitive fight in December because he has stated that he wants to fight 3 times this year too. So I doubt if Tyson the Gypsy King Fury would fight 3 times. He may fight early next year, 2024, be it January or February, against Joe Joyce. That is the plan of Frank Warren. He promotes Tyson versus Usyk, makes a lot of money in Saudi Arabia, brings the rematch to the Principality Stadium or Wembley Stadium, makes a lot of money. Then next year makes a lot of money on Tyson Fury versus Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce is now looking like a fan favorite. A lot of people are chanting for him to get a world title shot, and he has looked good against Joseph Parker. You are only as good as your last fight, to be fair to him, but he doesn't have age on his side. So Frank Warren would give him a world title opportunity against Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, looking forward to cash out on Joe Joyce. And that time Tyson Fury himself would be aging. He would be well into 35 or 36 years. So it would be a way of Frank Warren making money. Both fighters are his fighters. He makes money off them. So I don't think Frank Warren would be looking forward in making the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight. After the Usyk fight, he would make Joe Joyce, and if Tyson Fury comes out victorious, he makes Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Or if Joe Joyce comes out the victor, he makes, since there is a lot of acrimony between both camps already, that fight will sell. A lot of people will want to know how the fight unfolds. So this is what I think, but in my humble opinion, I don't think Anthony Joshua would be able to fight 3 times this year, because the last time Anthony Joshua fought 3 times was 7 years ago. That was in 2015, where he faced Charles Marston for the IBF World Championship, and that was 2 rounds or 1 round? Then Dominic Breazeale, then Eric Melina. So since 2016, Anthony Joshua has not fought 3 times a year. So making Anthony Joshua's body be in a full camp mode all year may have a toll on his body since it's been a while he's done it. There's different people would argue Anthony Joshua is always in the gym. There's difference between staying in the gym to stay in shape, and there is difference in the gym preparing for a fight. So there's a huge difference. Stay in the gym to stay fit is not to go beyond a certain weight so that you don't come into camp trying to make weight so that you can sharpen your skill in camp. So staying in camp to make weight, uh camping to make weight is a very difficult, it's a very dangerous term for fighters. That is why Anthony Joshua stays in the gym in order to stay in shape so that he gets into camp to polish tactics and sharpen his skill. So I don't think Anthony Joshua's body, as at this stage, having 7 years, last fought 3 times, would be able to be in 12 to 10 weeks camp 3 times this year. The body may end up facing a lot of setbacks. Maybe he might tear a muscle, and that may jeopardize the third fight, and that is likely to be Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. And the Dillian White's fight, I think, is needless because Dillian White can spoil the party to the Wilder fight because Wilder himself, I think, would have a comeback fight this year. I don't think the Wilder is interested in fighting Andy Ruiz. That's another video which I'll bring to you. But Dillian White is a very dangerous fight. So, in my humble opinion, after Fabio Wadley or Jean Gillet, Anthony Joshua should then fight Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. If he fights Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and beats Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, which I think he can, then he faces Dillian the Body Snatcher White. Because Dillian the Body Snatcher White has enough to upset Anthony Joshua. I'm not saying he will. I don't think he has enough skill to, but he has just enough to pull the upset, if you know what I'm talking about. So this is my take on this particular episode. Remember to stay positive. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do now. Express your views in the comment section, like the video, and also share so others can enjoy. Remember, there is no limit to greatness. Stay positive. Au revoir. Bye bye.